Welcome to today's panel discussion about opportunities in IoT. My name is Usman Sufi and I'll be moderating today's discussion. There's a lot of talk about the Internet of Things and how that is helping the clients and customers in the world today. And every year IoT is becoming more and more of a reality and not just a technology of the future. When everything is connected, it completes the definition of a digital revolution, step forward from the industrial revolution that we've seen a couple of centuries ago. From coffee mugs to large fleets of trucks, everything is being connected in IoT world today. At Systems Limited, we are very actively engaged with our customers, with other businesses, to connect their physical assets into an IoT platform and an IoT solutions. And our customers are working on things as varied as edge device designing, to security solutions, to AI-based IoT insights, etc. And our distinguished panelists here today, they have worked on some of those solutions and helped our customers and clients to enable them in the IoT world today. So I'll move over to our panelists, and my first question is about some of the specific client opportunities. If you can share your experiences in your respective verticals and systems, what have you been doing in terms of helping our clients in an IoT-based digital transformations? And I would request if you can give a brief introduction about yourself to start off.
Sure. So I'm Tariq Mohammed. I'm the Chief Data Scientist and Practice Lead for IoT at Systems Limited. And I would like to discuss the engagements that I've been doing with our clients in the past couple of years. So IoT, as we know, is everywhere, and it is making the processes efficient by connecting all the assets of a business or some of the assets of the business to the IoT cloud. And once we have that data in the cloud, then we can apply analytics and machine learning on it to suggest the better version of the process from which the data is coming. So the first example that I would want to share is RFID-based inventory tracking. We have a huge client base in retail sector, and these people have a problem of inventory warehouses where the front store does not know how much inventory do we have for a specific color, size, and style in apparel. So in order to make them aware of what inventory is lying in the back office so that they can quickly fetch it for a customer demands. So what we did is we tagged each and every shirt and every jacket with an IoT tag, that is RFID tag, and then we tracked each and every piece of inventory that we have through a front panel and a computer. Second example of making the process of a customer's business is queue length measurement. We used video analytics on the retail floor to measure how long a queue is usually, whether the checkout service is fast enough to make the queues shorter, and which checkout employee is making the queues longer and processing it slower. That data point, how long the queue was not captured previously in these businesses. You only know when a customer comes and they pay, the data goes into the computer, and you used to know that the customer came, but you had no idea in the past that how many people were waiting in the queue. So today our video analytics based sensor can tell which checkout counter keeps people waiting more than other counters. So that the process can be improved and feedback can be given. Then we are working on a meeting room optimization solution with one of our huge pharmaceutical client. And their problem is they have a huge building and they have conference rooms and meeting rooms that are sometimes allocated for a meeting, but then the meeting doesn't happen and the space is underutilized, while other people are waiting for a meeting to happen. So what we are doing with that client is we are installing smart motion detection sensors and smart IR-based people detectors on the ceiling, so that if a meeting time starts and people don't show up for the meeting, or people leave early by ending the meeting, the system, the Active Directory, the calendar knows that the meeting has ended and the calendar can reschedule it for the upcoming meeting that people are waiting for, just because of the space.
That's a
issue.
very common problem, so I'm sure a lot of businesses would
Yes.
would be happy about this.
Yeah, it is a multiplier product for us. Like
Yeah.
once we implement this one, then we plan to do it on a mass level. Then we are working with the same pharmaceutical clients for their patients' data collection. Their patients, they have trials, and in trials they employ patients to do certain exercises, and then they have sensors. The sensors that my team is working with is Futsal Sensors. So like the shoe is an IoT device, and the patient is wearing that shoe, and when they do some activity like walking or standing or jogging, the shoe tells us what was the force and what was the angle of the shoe at a certain second, and we bring all that data to their cloud, and then we animate the motion of the shoe in real time on a dashboard, and we also apply AI to detect whether that person has a limp in the left leg or in the right leg, because when they put less pressure on left and quickly shift pressure to the right one, IoT AI knows that the left leg has a problem, and that's why the person is not pushing on the left leg. So, I mean, 10 years ago, how would have you been able to know how much force you are applying on, a patient is applying on a shoe, and whether they have a limp in the left leg or the right leg without looking at them? Today, we are sitting off-site, and we can tell them that patient X had a limp in the left leg. So, and AI is helping a lot in getting such insights. It's not only about sensor connectivity that, okay, the patient's wearable is connected, so we know everything. No, the data is raw, it's signals, it's one-dimensional 16 one-dimensional signals that come from the shoe, but we can tell what's happening with their health of their legs. Another use case that I want to discuss that we worked on is apparel manufacturing use case. And in apparel manufacturer, a piece of garment, like a shirt, goes through multiple work centers. Like the cuff is stitched on one work center with a specialist stitching cuffs only, and then the collar is stitched on another workstation. And the workstation efficiency needs to be somehow probed and measured, which is not very efficient these days. There is a supervisor that tells us that what is the rate of cuff making and what is the rate of collar making at a certain work center, but we don't have transparency and connected solution for this. So what we are doing with that client is we are attaching RFID tags to each piece of the cut garment, the raw cut garment piece, and those RFID tags then track how much time did the sleeve or the cuff take on certain table and work center, and how much time the collar took on a certain work center, and then eventually how much time the last work center, the last table took to combine the whole shirt and pack it. So we can keep transparency and measurement on each step of the manufacturing process and give visibility to your production manager. These use cases are complemented by machine data also. Like in apparel manufacturing, there are sieving machines that have sensors in it, and the sieving machine tells you what direction of stitching was happening at what minute or what second. So for example, if somebody is rotating a pair of jeans while stitching, the machine knows that the piece of cloth was rotated and stitched. But that data was not put to use by our client. They were just storing that data because the machine was generating the data. We took that data, we trained signal processing machine learning algorithms on it, and now our algorithm can tell when did they stitch a pocket of a jeans, when did they stitch an inseam of the jeans, and it exactly detects from the machine's signals when was a certain portion of stitching of a jeans completed and when was the whole stitching of the jeans completed. So these are some of the use cases that my team has implemented.
And the customers can take on this data, and I would expect that they would be able to optimize the time it takes for a certain section of the jeans to be stitched, and where exactly they can optimize their overall process.
Yes, we are helping them even in that, because if you just tell them how much time a jeans a piece of jeans is taking, a pocket of a jeans is taking, that is not going to help them a lot.
Yeah.
You have to give them prescriptive insights that if you move certain piece of stitching of a jeans to another table, to another workstation, that would optimize your throughput. So the algorithm can do slot filling and allocation at scale by processing millions of iterations on the possible solution to change the process. We run it overnight, and the other day it tells us your factory should look like this tomorrow. And it really works because it is proven mathematically.
Right.
So that's my experience so far.
Thank you very much for that insight. So I'll move on to our next panelist.
So my name is Mohammad Amin. I'm heading the cloud and infrastructure competency here at Systems Limited. Basically, we are helping a lot of clients moving towards cloud, and their journey is like cloud enablement. And specifically on the IoT side, IoT, as you know, that is a giant network of connected devices, and that devices emit data through transmitters, and the internet is the medium through which we can store these huge emitted data in the internet, and then we can do the analytics to get the more usefulness use and improve the efficiencies of the products we are using. Especially the case I'm going to talk about is one of the clients, is a manufacturing client. They are manufacturing the air conditioner. So right from the manufacturing, they have installed the IoT devices, which are, and then on the conveyor belts, they've installed the IoT devices from the barcodes that they can track where actually the products is going. And then right from even after sales services, the IoT is helping us. That even they have some sensors installed on the compressors, which we can call automatically if there is any service required on the compressor or on the whole air conditioner. So we are helping many clients to enable IoT in their systems.
Sure. Thank you. Moving on, what would be some of the client opportunities in your vertical around
Thank
IoT?
you. I am Babar Fraz. I am actually digital commerce consultant. So the online shoppers are embracing Internet of Things era like no one other. The introduction of the connected devices, applications, touch points has brought a drastic change in the customer behavior and the expectations too. So either they are like in-store interfaces, smart voice assistants, or the omni-channel experience that is actually offering a very innovative way to the customers to know about the product information, read its reviews online, or to actually shop them. So we at Systems are actually helping our clients to enable the customer experience through an endless array of the IoT devices. As rightly mentioned by Tariq earlier, that the inventory is one of the bottlenecks the industry has faced in multiple areas of their implementation. So, right, like the problem was there for inventory from the warehouse, the similar expectation was on to the brick and mortar stores as well. So what happens when an item gets out of stock? So an store assistant is there to take a look of that, to take the right count of the things on the shelf. So now with the help of these IoT devices like sensors and the cameras, etc., and an automated machine learning algorithm is actually keeping track of the record of the inventory. Similarly, if something is actually spilled from the shelf, so no store assistant is now required to take care of that thing. Your in-store beacons are there traveling into the store. They're actually shifting that information towards the back office that somewhere something is spilled out of the shelf. So such use cases into this industry, into the retail industry, are helping now through the IoT devices. So we are helping our clients to enable such solutions through these IoT devices, and at the same time, this is generating a huge data, which is helping to grow their productivity and the profits as well.
Sure. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you, Tariq, in terms of implementations of an IoT solution. So what would you say some of the key success factors are that would make or break the success of an IoT implementation?
Right. So I would answer it in two dimensions. One is technical and one is organizational. So technically, a good IoT solution or a good IoT partner should help the client with the device management of all the devices. So devices are usually from hundreds to thousands of devices in a plant or in a facility. And those thousands of devices need to have a software platform that allows these devices to connect to the cloud securely and to connect the device always. There should not be disconnected devices lying around in the business. And then this connectivity should be secure connectivity and managed connectivity. For example, if you have a warehouse and there is an RFID tag and then there is some other RFID tag in some other truck, and your system is, connected to that other device that is not belonging to your business. So secure connectivity, the connectivity of devices that actually belong to the business should be made sure by your technology partner. And there are also chances of breaches and hacking. So security of device connectivity is of utmost importance. That is one big doubt in the heads of executives, that if we allow IoT to connect to our cloud and run our process, what if somebody connects a sensor or a machine that does not belong to our business? What would happen then? And even worse than that, if somebody accesses the data of our devices, how can you secure the device? Because device also have some data stored about a factory or a machine. Right. So device management would be the first key ingredient of an IoT solution. Device management should also provide firmware update from single point of update. For example, I need to have some interface where I can say, from today, these 100 sensors will install this software on board on the edge device. Mm-hmm. And then when I change it here, all the software is updated on the remote devices. We call it on over-the-air update or over-the-air firmware update.
Right.
So you don't need to go to each and every, you don't have to need to go to each and every device and install the software that is updated. That is the device part. Then a good technology partner should provide a scalable and secure messaging infrastructure for IoT devices, because IoT devices are in thousands or sometimes in millions, and the messaging infrastructure or the messaging software should be such that it can survive the huge scale of messages. For example, if each device is sending a message each second and there are 1 million devices, you're talking about 60 million messages being sent to your cloud. And that is why IoT cloud backend needs to be highly scalable, highly persistent, highly resilient to faults, and highly replicated, so that if one part fails, another part can still be running and catching all those messages. Because if you lose all those messages, you have lost the sight of the business that you're counting on. The third component, technical component, that I see during my experience with IoT projects is the AI-based process automation. Some technology partners provide simple SQL-style queries on IoT data, that okay, if this sensor value, for example, the temperature grows bigger than 30 centigrade, then send me an email. But that one sensor and that one email does not solve huge problems. Huge problem to solve when you have an AI engine that takes hundreds of sensors signals and tries to come up with a bigger picture, that okay, if these 100 sensors are telling me something about a conveyor belt, so maybe there is something big getting wrong in that conveyor belt, and that something that goes wrong is not detectable usually through one sensor. Humans and simple computer algorithms can detect 1 or 2 sensors at a time, but AI can detect problems from hundreds of thousands of sensors of data at the same time, because we train it on hundreds and thousands of sensors, and then it can make sense of what's going wrong on each side of the plant. Each sensor, for example, temperature sensor will tell some story, humidity sensor will tell some story, vibration sensor will tell a story about the jitter in the motors. So the AI-based solution, suggestion, and insight based on IoT data is the most important ingredient of a solution. If you don't change your business through automated insight, you're just collecting data about IoT and looking at it. That's it. Now, if I give you the ingredients on the business side, the top management should be convinced and should buy the idea that their business is not performing well because it is not optimized. For optimization, we require to measure the business. So for measuring, we need to connect the business. The second thing that executives and C-level team members should understand, and we should convince them to understand, is that IoT implementations sometimes disrupt the flow of the business. There is a chance that it will disrupt the flow of the business, specifically in 24-hour manufacturing environments. Machine downtime cannot be afforded, and if your IoT partner comes and tells you that we need to take down a machine because we want to install a sensor in it, or we want to see how it behaves when the nut is loose, you can't afford that. Your machinery is already working on production. So while choosing your technical partner, executives and C-level people that are approaching this project, they should make sure that the technical partner has simulated environments in their labs to simulate the machines that you have in the factory to some extent. Of course, all the machines cannot be brought into a lab, but to some extent they should have a capability to simulate your environment and check their sensors and data before they bring it to put it into your assets. Also, the technical partner that you're choosing for your business, for IoT, should be capable of making digital twins and simulation-based copies of your machinery and your assets. For example, if you're running a factory and your ball bearings in motors have a huge rate of failure, and you want to predict the ball bearings failure, can you allow IoT company, the tech company, to install sensors in each and every motor and put down the production, stop the production, and then install the sensors and see if it works? The factory cannot afford it. So the technical partner that you're choosing should be equipped with making a simulation model, physics and metallurgy and differential equations based simulator to model the behavior of ball bearings, and then they should be able to distort the ball bearings in the simulation so that they can simulate the event when a ball bearing breaks.
Right.
And then they'll capture the data from simulator, and then they'll make their machine learning model, they'll make the whole IoT product, and then they'll say, it is ready, just install the sensor in your motor and it will work. Right. So that is what we should consider when choosing a technical IoT partner for an IoT implementation. It's a long journey, but these are some starting suggestions that C-levels
those are the ones which would make or break the success of an IoT-based implementation.
Sure, yeah.
And one of the things you mentioned is about choosing the right partner, and that's probably one of the key suggestions that comes out of your discussion here.
Sure.
And we have a lot.
We are there to help.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So we hear a lot about, in terms of the infrastructure and the platform, we hear a lot about cloud-based services that are available for IoT solutions. So I'd move on to Amin to get some insight into the cloud-based platforms that are available and how they are helping the IoT journey of our customers, and how Systems Limited plays a role.
Yes, currently all the major players have IoT-based solutions, whether it be Microsoft, whether it be AWS or Google, all they have their native cloud IoT-based solutions. So since we are working closely with the Microsoft as a partner, they have solution for IoT. They call Azure IoT, and they have solution they have everything. They have Azure devices, tools, security capabilities, analytics, storage. So they have solution for all industries, like be it agriculture, be it safe cities, be it healthcare. So we've been, partnering, especially in the, as I mentioned earlier, with the retail and manufacturing side. So using their backbone for connectivity and storage and analytics. We were working extensively with Microsoft on their IoT solutions to provide support and implementation to different partners.
Right, and that gives us an edge in terms of having some framework which is already available
Yes.
and ready,
Yes.
and we can just go in and use that entire framework to move on
Yes.
and help our customers. So moving over to Babu, you mentioned about the brick and mortar stores. Do you think we have we can imagine a future, a near future, where there would be cashless payments at the stores, and or do you see that payment by cash is still something which we'll continue to use in the near future?
So, the checkout free shopping is set to boom in the next few years. Retailers are exploring the ideas, the possible solutions where they can actually provide the customers an opportunity where the customers comes into the brick and mortar stores and then they just buy the things and go out. So that's what the technology is shifting towards. The self-scanning items via smartphones, a solution where the glass wall of your brick and mortar store actually becomes your interface where the customer can choose, browse, and then shop the things. So ultimately, we are moving towards those solutions which are providing customers the liberty to come into the brick and mortar store or any other interface and shop their preferred items and just pick up their information from their different interfaces of the lifestyles. So the technology providing the baseline headless commerce is enabling us now to provide such possible solutions to our customers. So we at Systems, we have implemented a lot of projects with this headless commerce technology, and we are enabling our customers to have such options available with multiple interfaces with the same base and the same code.
And with that, we come to an end for the time we have available for this panel discussion. I'd like to thank my distinguished guests here today, and I'd like to thank all the people in the audience as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Usman.
Thank you.